Fire!
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We have a speaker coming up here. Is the one and only Jan Cerato. He has been running his Bitcoin investments workshops here in Calgary for quite some time now, and he's had incredible attendance. He's been doing a lot for driving adoption of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in Calgary here. He's an educator, he's an investor, and he's got a lot to talk to you guys about. So I'd love to introduce to you, Jan Cerato.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you guys in the lounge, and thank you again. Thanks so much for coming out. This means the world to me. We've been working on this since July, since Stampede, okay? And to do this is not an easy feat. We launched a magazine and a convention series. We're coming out every quarter to bring you guys this kind of networking, this kind of edutainment, and this kind of subject matter for like-minded citizens like yourself. My story goes way back. I came to Calgary when I was a young man. I was only 2 years old, and that was like 1972. I'm 47 years old now. Around 28 years old, I had quit working full-time at my job, and I decided to be an entrepreneur. And that was probably the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. My ex-wife's here in the crowd. She remembers the times when I was struggling. I was up till 2 in the morning trying to get the invoices out. I was driving downtown. We had a used New Yorker because I didn't want to have a car payment because, you know, I wanted to save money for the kid and all these things that you guys can relate to. And then after a while, my life changed and I became an investor. And I started taking that money that I worked with in the entrepreneurial segment and put that towards investing. And I learned about it, I loved it, and I did a lot of it. And then crypto came around. And it caught me by surprise, it caught my eye. And I've been in crypto now since 2013. I was dabbling then, and nowadays I'm fully vested. I'm all over it like you'd imagine. And that's why we're doing this convention. Again, thank you so much for coming. So people call me a Bitcoin influencer. I like that title. What I like to do with Bitcoin is let you know it's probably one of the best investments of your life. It is like the gold bars of the internet. And Benny, if we can get to the next slide, how do we do that? Okay, I click it.
Just tap it, yeah.
Does this thing work? This guy?
That doesn't, no.
No? Okay. I'm new here, thanks. So just tap the space bar or the arrow. Okay, so it all begins with this man. Put up your hand if you guys know who this is. Anybody know who Tim BernersLee is? Yes, Jason does. Attaboy. This is my mentor. Does anyone have a mentor? Put up your hand. Awesome, thank you. You guys are like-minded like me. You're driven people, motivated, goal setters. This man has changed my life, okay? And how did he do that? Well, this man changed all of your lives, and you don't even know. You don't even realize how instrumental this human being right here is in your life, to your kids, and the future of everything. This man right here decentralized everything before we even knew what was up, before there was crypto, okay? This man decentralized a thing called the web. How many of you know about the web? All right, that's what I thought. How many of you have been on the internet for a little bit? Anybody? 1992, right here, 1992. I cut my cable in 98. Remember, honey? You were so mad at me. But I've been on the web since 1992, and I've seen everything, you guys. And cryptocurrency has been the biggest thing in the last little while, but this man started it all. And what he decided to do was he decided to put programming code in 1991 in the Boston University out to the world. And he was not shy about it. He wasn't holding on to it like it was something that he couldn't share kind of thing. He already had the decentralized mindset, the sharing economy. And he knew that if he got this code out to the right people on the internet, that they would take it and run with it and build some amazing things. So when I think of amazing, I want to show you what amazing was. Look at that. Huh? How many had one of this in their house? Anybody? Hands up? Yeah, I did too. I remember my dad brought this home. I think we stopped watching TV for 10 days. Mom said we all had white faces and we hadn't seen the sun. We were gravitated around this little guy like you have no idea. And Dad and I would sit there with Popular Science magazine and we would type in from the code in there, basic code, and we would make some little bullshit things move around on the screen. And we spent all day Sunday doing that. It was hilarious. My mom thought we were crazy. Get off that computer, she said. Get outside. My dad was a hunter, fisherman, all that kind of stuff. When he got this, though, changed his life. I think I got addicted to computing and the internet way back in the 90s, too, because I feel like I am addicted to this type of stuff, and I'm in it every single day. But I'm glad you guys can relate. So let's go to the next one. How many people remember Netscape? Anybody? Yeah? Some Netscape users out there? 1991, 93, Cadvision came to Calgary and they released this internet. And everyone's like, what the hell's this, right? And I remember the newspaper, Calgary Herald and all that. And this is what you got. You got this software here, and you could go look stuff up. And you can look it up from the computer now. And this, my ladies and gentlemen, was an absolute breakthrough. This was an incredible revolution. And then they got, crazy about things. They started to do ads. And all this revenue and monetization starts happening on the internet. But there's one problem. There's always a problem. First of all the greedy, commercialized mongers took a hold of the internet and started publishing all this shit. And a lot of it got washed and ugly and weird, and people lost interest, thought it was a fad, and people walked away, believe it or not. People walked away from the web, imagine. And every one of you's on the web, and you've all got your phones lit up in here. You wouldn't even think of it today. Who would leave the web right now? Nobody, right? But back then, people left because of this. And it was an interesting time, and I lived through that. I used to call it the ugly days of the internet. And I was out there, I had a company called Styleworks, and I made all this stuff look better. But I've always been in the marketing angle, because the monetization of the web was about delivering information. And that's something we're doing right now with you guys. And then we got smart. We're like, you know what? We could get the internet and the web to do everything. We could get it to, play video games, and we could do shopping online, and we could do money, and we could pay for things, and we could have a coupon, and I could order light bulbs, and all this cool stuff could happen because look, I've got the web. And eureka, we realized something as humans, that we're not fooling around anymore. Now we're getting smart. Now we're connecting everything, and now we're taking our lives places. And I'll tell every one of you in the room here and everyone on the video, the internet, the web, is the now and the future, and we are all powered by it. You are all locked in and in this with me, okay? So then you go, what are we doing with it? Like, what's the big deal of it? Well, we had all these ideas, then we started to connect all the dots, and everything became similar to the blockchain. This is similar to blockchain, but before the blockchain was even thought of, But the ideas were there. We have these ideas, we're linking everything, our phones, our cell phones, the cameras, all this type of stuff. Now, the big commercial companies are back in. Now you've got cyber thieves. Now you've got all kinds of other craziness connecting the dots along with the citizens. And now we have a little bit of hairy, scary trouble. But we're getting through that, and we're learning. But what also has happened is that we're so bombarded by technology, and I'll tell you why. If you look around construction, real estate, a lot of the topics that we're going to hear about, they're not growing at the pace of technology. Technology is the baseline of growth, period. Cryptocurrency is part of technology. That's why the blockchain's there. The growth is in technology, and you guys know this. I know you do. And so keep in mind that as we move towards the future, technology is going to grow within all of us. So now we're all connected. Now what are we doing? Well, we're talking to each other. Are we talking enough? No. Some of us are only texting. My daughter doesn't even text. She doesn't email. She doesn't Facebook. She Snapchats, and she only does the faces. Like, there's no words anymore. We're gone to like a face-based society of some kind now in the kids, right? So the kids are the ones I'm always watching. I'm looking at how they do the internet. I'm looking at what they're doing on the web. I care about them the most, to be honest. I'm always looking at them, and I'm always checking them out. And I know you guys have kids, you should be all over that sort of thing. So now we have it all. We have everything at our fingertips, okay? Imagine we sat there years ago with a clicker with a cord on it to change channels, and today Ben can go on his phone and pull up a movie in 2 seconds, boom, boom, and here we go. Anything he wants. He can order food right now. We can get clothes measured to suit. You can do anything you want. And let me just say this. Does everybody like this? Put up your hand if you like how this is going right now with this internet that you guys are part of. And then who doesn't like it? Put up your hand. Who thinks it's too much? Anybody? Yeah, I see a few out there too. So I'm on the fence a little bit too. I think we're overwhelmed, but I don't think the overwhelmingness is going to quit. We're going to get more and more and more of this. And what are we doing? Well, we're getting smarter. Society is getting smarter. You guys are smart for being here. You're here to learn and be part of something bigger than yourselves. You're here to be part of technology, blockchain, and the future, okay? And how are our homes looking? Smart recycling, smart infrastructure, smart industry, smart governance, smart buildings, smart education, smart home environment, smart home systems, smart security. Everything's getting smart. Why? Because we're linking data. Why? Because technology has got the railroad piped down, and we are on it right now in the web. And as a smart society and the smart buildings and the smart energy starts to continue to grow and continue to prosper, we're going to see our lives change more and more and more. And back when the internet was the thing, and the web came out thereafter, 1991, you saw that they had a struggle for a financial system. And the financial system for the web has always been a challenge. Visa, MasterCard, they've all taken a stab at it. They didn't succeed. Many companies have tried actually to take a stab at it. Others have just made their own railroad, like PayPal and WeChat in China and other ones you guys have all heard of in the news. But really the financial backbone was missing all this time. And that's where crypto fits in. And I want you guys to see that. There is a direct correlation and link here between the past, the now, and the future. And crypto becomes this little wedge that fits in perfectly now, and the answers are all complete, okay? So all of the future will be tokenized. What's a token? Well, it's digital coin. You have it in your wallet. What's a wallet? Well, it's a software app. Sits in your phone, sits on your laptop. You'll have a whole assortment of tokens in your wallet, and you'll pay for things like your electricity bills, NMAX, and other things. You'll pay to companies because you're going to vote with your tokens. You're going to vote with your money eventually, and where you spend your funds, you're going to choose that type of supplier and that kind of provider because you're smart now. Now you understand that you can control where your money goes, and because you're part of blockchain now in the future, you'll understand how this all plays in. You're going to vote for the different companies. You're going to support brands all through cryptocurrencies, and it's all coming. All that type of couponing from shoppers and Best Buy and all that, that's all going to be eradicated here in about 5 minutes, okay? We are going to go to a cryptocurrency reward system. All of those games that my mom plays online on Facebook and all that, all of those games are all getting cryptified right now. One of the biggest, awesomest companies is called, Gamtech. And they have 100 million users in their online business already, and they tokenize it with an Ethereum token, and they picked up 100 million users buying their in-house token now. So huge, huge, smart company. So what's the future look like? Well, they're pushing this on us right now. They're pushing the AR, AI vibe. I don't see any of you in here wearing these glasses, thank God, so you don't fall down. But this is coming hard, right? And I know you guys know this. I don't know where this fits in yet. I don't know if we're ready for this. How many put up your hands if you think you're ready for this, please? Okay, a few of you, awesome. I know gaming and real estate is going AR. Okay, you're taking people on a tour of properties and things like that in a really in-depth way. This is cool stuff. When you engage with a property in this style, this really works, okay? And the same as in gaming, all right? But this is the future. We're going to be immersing our minds and ourselves more and more. And the games are all cryptified as we've seen it. So then we get into the future more. And then we've got, digital eyes. We've got digital items on our bodies. We've got digital everything happening. And we're not going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. 5 of my friends, one of them is going to be here today, has a chip already inserted right in their hand right here. And when they get home, they just swipe their hand on their front door lock from Samsung and they go right in. And you get them put in at the piercing shops. So the piercing shops put this little tiny glass capsule into your hand, and it has a little microchip in there, RFID and NFC, and you can start unlocking your car, your doors, you program it for whatever you want. It's pretty amazing. You have to see it. And a few of my friends are already living it. So if you're not there yet, it's my job today to show you the past, the present, and a little taste of the future. So there we are, we're learning. How are we learning? My daughter barely opens a book anymore. Her mom here gets so upset. She doesn't go to books, The kids are not doing this, not on purpose, you guys. It's because the way technology is driving everything. All the curriculum's going to be on iPad, all of that. And the kids, you know what? They're going to get crypto rewarded for a lot of their efforts in the future, too. They'll have a crypto system where they get XYZ grades or XYZ this, and there'll be crypto rewards for that. And you just watch how much crypto starts to seep in to everything, because understand why. It's now the financial backbone of the web. And the web is the most powerful thing we have on earth. So when the cities become gamified, cryptified, digified, everything's lit up, chips in the hand, going on the LRT, no money in the pocket, no one's getting robbed, no one's getting extorted, everything's connected, the blockchain's running our Alberta healthcare, our insurance on our car knows when and when we're not driving because we have the chip. All this stuff starts to get into our lives, and where are we at then, right? Where are we? Well, the technologists out here and the scientists and all these innovators think that that's what we want, okay? Now, I think we want some of it. You guys can have your own opinion, obviously. I'd love you to, and comment after. But I really believe that we're going there, and I know we are. And with cryptocurrency with us, okay? And now get it. We've got a chip in the hand. We go and swipe. We're paying for Starbucks. There's no more money. There's no more cash. We've already preloaded. We've already connected our chip to the bank account, to the crypto account at BitVo. That's right, BitVo is here, bitvo.com. So we're going to connect to something like them, okay? Now, shipments, all that stuff with Amazon, you guys have seen all that stuff. So understand that all the payments and all that sort of stuff, Visa and MasterCard and the traditional banks, they're going to lose a little bit of market share to the crypto sphere, and it's inevitable. And it was coming for years, you guys. So don't be naive. But some people have said we're wiping out the banks. No, we're not. We need the banks. We need the real estate. We need all the rudimentary business that's been already laid down, and the tracks for that have to stay. But we're adding another layer. I tell my daughter there's 3 kinds of money. There's cash, there's regular, and there's crypto. Okay? And regular is that online stuff. E-transfers, money in the bank, and it's fiat, by the way. I don't want to confuse you. Some of you are going to get confused with the alphas outside, but the fiat is how we determine the regular currency of today. Okay? So in the future, we're going to have 3 currencies, and they're all going to play in the one house, and that's how it's going to be. So let's recap. Let's recap together. 1991, the decentralized web comes out, and it changes our lives forever. We're smartphone enabled, we're laptop centric, we're all over the place. 2008, blockchain programming is developed and tested. It's released to the world. People loved it. They thought it was amazing. 2009, it's 10 years in January. Our next convention is on January 3rd and 4th, and it is our 10-year Bitcoin anniversary. So 2009, Bitcoin is released as the first decentralized currency. The world was shocked. They didn't know how to take it. They didn't know what we were doing. They were like, I can't believe it. And then 2013 was a monument year. That's when I noticed everything. That's when my eyes lit up the most. Bitcoin and many other alternative coins are released. Coins like Dash and other ideas that are out there today. And then 2017 takes us to Bitcoin, and alternative coins see the biggest gains in history. It was a monarch year, monumentous, okay? And that's why we're here today. So what are we on? We're in the future now, okay? I've taken you guys from the past to the future. And thank you so much for being open-minded. Thank you for being on this crypto journey with me. After this lecture of mine is over, you're going to meet so many other people. And the way we've designed today is to take you guys on a journey. So I'm starting it off with the past, bringing you guys up to speed. And now we're going to get the next speaker in, and after like this, and you guys will start to learn, and we'll unfold the entire blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all the various topics that matter to you. And that's how we picked this, and this is how we did the speakers for this. So everybody that's coming after me really matters. They're all sequential in the blockchain of development. They can all help people that are here. We've got lawyers coming, bankers, all types of people that are open-minded. Some of you are investors, business owners, this kind of thing. This is the right place to meet those kind of people, okay? Michael Brown from ATB is up next after me. I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you for coming, everybody. I really appreciate you. We've got Ken Bozak and Ben coming up on stage. We're going to pull this screen up, and thanks so much, okay? Thank you.
I look at blockchain and cryptocurrencies as sort of how I took my first step into torrents, downloading illegal movies and music and video games. That was kind of like my first cypherpunk introduction. So I wanted to see like what your thoughts were on that, and maybe how that led you to sort of how it led me to understand cryptocurrencies with, you know, blockchain and decentralizing when you had torrents for file sharing, stuff like that.
So my very first experience with the internet was the bulletin boards, and I was downloading naked pictures of girls. I swear to God, and I'm not kidding right now. And people would scan like Playboy and stuff, and I'm a Playboy fan, so my ex-wife knows that too. And they would scan the pictures, and they would put them on the bulletin boards, and I was like, dial-up modem, and it would take like half an hour to download, you know, like a pic like that. And I was just like, wow, I was like, you know, I was 23, I think, at the time, and I was like, this is amazing. We're never going to need magazines again, you know, all this kind of thing, right? I was 23 years old at the time, right? So total culture shock. From then, I started to use the computer to do everything myself, like really, and I knew that one day I could quit my job and work on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew that was a thing, and I knew that I currently do invoicing in my underwear. It's not a joke, like I literally do. So I'm utilizing it as much as I can. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've got a question for you as well. So, so what I'm curious about is contrasting. I guess you talked a little bit about your initial experience with the internet and computers compared to now, but crypto has been around for 10 years now. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to contrast and compare your first experience with cryptocurrency to now. what's happened, and you got involved around 2013.
Yeah.
So you've now had about 5 years worth of experience. How much has the space changed, and how so? Like, as even just when you're talking about user experience, what's
Absolutely.
changed?
Awesome question. So when Bitcoin was first out, we went on a Tor browser, an Onion browser. We went to a place called the Silk Road where no one should have ever shopped. And that was made by a Vancouver guy, by the way. That's a Canadian that went to jail for us on that one. And he's probably the most intimate man on earth with Bitcoin of his time, because that was the only place in the world that took Bitcoin. And it was wild, the things you could buy on there. Many of you heard about it. And that was my first experience, because I was hanging out with this guy, Tom, and he played video games, and he wanted to show me this. And I was like, okay, let's have a look, right? What has changed is not a whole lot, and then a whole bunch too. Let me explain. So the coins themselves are digital files, and there's just a lot more of them now, and a lot more ideas. But what I see is a ton of sheeple copying every single other idea. So I don't see a lot of, innovation yet, but I see a lot of copycats, okay? I still think Bitcoin is the best thing going. I've seen growth since 2013. Dave Bradley's here. He can talk out there. You guys can interview him in the lounge and just chat with him. What did he buy Bitcoin at? $3, $8? He had 30,000 of them, or just weird stories like that. 3,000 of them at $8. I don't remember, but those were the days. Those were the days. Those days are over. We're sitting. Last night we almost hit 8 or 9 grand Canadian there. It went up $600 or whatever. So Bitcoin has changed only by growth. So if you say to me, Jan, would you have bought a ton of it back in 2013 if you know what you know now? Hell yes. I would have sold everything we had and bought a whole pile of it. I really feel like it's the internet gold. It's the internet, it's the web gold. Like it really is. Bricks of gold, bars of Bitcoin, analogy that way. Now, all the other coins, all this other thing, what I'm still not seeing enough of is mass adoption. And when you go to Europe, and you guys have been there, you told me everything, Ken. Ken's going to tell you guys about Europe. They're so advanced. You go anywhere, and you're paying with crypto. Like, there isn't an option. It's like, that is the option. It's like crypto, and then, the regular fiat, and it's all there. It's all bundled in one, and there's no distinction. There's no weirdness. It's all rolling. Canada, we have better banking systems, so it's different here, right? And we're not that, we're just not that quick to pick up a lot of technology, unfortunately, I noticed, too. The Americans are way ahead of us, and such things, too. So it's weird how we operate in Canada, but going forward, I want to see mass adoption. I want to pay for sushi with Dash Coin or, whatever, and I want to see more usage by everybody. So hence why we're doing conventions, hence why we're educating people, because we want to see more and more usage. And by the way, everybody that's here today can get a free Jack's Liberty wallet, and we have people here today to help you set them up. They're free anyway. It's in your app store. It's not like I'm giving you something like that, but in the case of, it's for you to try and use, and it's a beautiful piece of software made in Canada. So it's the Jack's Liberty wallet, and we'll help all of you sign up today in the lounge, and you guys can get one if you don't have one. Go ahead. Another question?
We'll dive out into the crowd here. Actually, maybe I'll ask, does anybody have any questions for Jan as far as his journey into crypto, what he's seen? Yeah, right here, you can shout it out to me.
We can hear you.
So, I'm just wondering, in your wildest imagination, where do you see the blockchain technology will lead us to?
Well, a great way to explain it is that we have such a poor quality business acumen out here, right? There's all kinds of trickery that goes on. You can have a man come to your house, do an inspection, and pretend he didn't see the furnace was broken, and they can write that down. What I see is I see transparency, I see good quality, and I see a better structure and foundation for all of our lives. I would like Alberta healthcare to run on blockchain. I really would. I really would. I think it would be so fantastic for all people's files that get lost or uncertain, or what's really going on with your healthcare and things like that. And I think that blockchain has a tremendous amount of power for certain kind of business systems, okay? And then I think that we're going to go to the tokenization economy, and we've got some friends here that we're going to do this with their mind and other things. And the tokenization economy for businesses is going to be the best thing they ever had. Because businesses have been kicked to the side, locked out of things, money, funds, all that kind of stuff. And with crypto and the blockchain behind it, it's going to be a whole new turbo power to the business community. And this is something that they really desperately need. Business has been dismal for years, and I think crypto is going to add that layer. So blockchain is going to help us organize and keep everything clean and transparent and good quality business. And then the crypto is going to help all the businesses grow in funds and in economy and that kind of thing. Yeah. More questions? Come on, throw some out. Go ahead.
How do you feel about China's centralization for mining Bitcoin? And do you think proof of stake is the future because that gets rid of China?
Awesome. So I'll just repeat.
Ben's gonna hit this one.
Here, I'll give you the mic here. So sure, I'll dive into it. I'll repeat the question just for video-wise as well. So the question was about how do you feel about the centralization of mining in China, and what do you think of a shift to proof of stake, because that could potentially mitigate some of that and spread some of the wealth. Personally, when it comes to centralization of mining in China, I'm not super worried about that for a couple of reasons. One of the things is the mining pools themselves, a lot of them, yes, they're based in China, but a lot of those mining pools are also built up of individual users contributing hashing power and computing power to the network.
All volunteered, yeah.
Yeah, and so the reason that I'm not super concerned is we saw a few years back there was an individual mining pool that got above 51% of network hash rate. And we saw individual people that were contributing to that mining pool independently shift to different mining pools to even things out so that you didn't have that risk there, that risk of an individual taking control of the entire network.
Monopolization.
Yeah. And
Avoidance.
so let's say that we did see an instance of not only a mining pool or like a group of mining pools secretly controlled by a number of people, an individual, get that 51% advantage and start trying to tinker around and change things. I think very quickly we would notice something's wrong, but I think it would be more of an inconvenience until people switched mining pools. That said, proof of stake, I find it interesting, but I mean, there's always a trade-off with something like this, right? So proof of stake, you get to stake your coin. So you have a certain amount of coin and you use that coin to stake it to basically vet transactions or however,
I'll go more layman's terms. Basically, you hold these coins in your wallet and you get dividend rewards for doing so. Really simple. So if you got 10,000 coins and you leave them there, you don't touch them, the company will give you, let's say, 1,000 coins a month for doing that. I like staking, by the way. I really do. I'm a big fan of staking rewards myself. Okay? Just saying that.
Yeah.
Just saying that. I like it.
The trade-off I see with proof of stake is, sure, you're no longer having to expel as much power, but it's an instance of, does that then lead to the rich getting richer? So, okay, you have a lot of wealth and you stake those coins and you get rewarded for that. Great, it's incentive, but it also can contribute to those shifts. With something like proof of work, which Bitcoin is on, no matter how much wealth you already have, you have to exert the exact same amount of energy and effort to obtain more
The
coin.
rewards, exactly.
So,
it keeps it fair, very even Steven on things.
But people have brought up issue with the idea of, well, is this an environmental concern? Are we expending so much electricity that it could become an issue? I'm also not super concerned about that because I think it just leads to, now that it's incentivized to mine, it leads to people finding more efficient ways of using power. And I think it's actually going to drive a little bit of a green revolution because if you can have a renewable resource funding your mining, then that's a lot more profitable if you can get it down to the right level. Yes, yeah.
I visited the Hut 8 mining facility in Medicine Hat, Alberta. When I got off the bus there, I was shocked. I really was, you guys. I have never seen a facility like this. I did an 8-minute documentary. It's on Cerato on YouTube. Watch it, 8 minutes. I was shocked. 63 megawatts of juice coming into that place. Do some math here with your calculators. 63 megawatts, and they're producing 30 bitcoins a day. 30, okay? Bitcoin's roughly, 9 grand, 10 grand, we'll just round up. But that's, 300 grand or 30,000 a day, 300 grand, sorry, 300 grand a day times 30 days a month. So do the math on that. It's awesome. So 63 megawatts burning there. They're taking gas from the TransAlta pipelines and they're converting it into electricity energy. And we're going to be able to take some other people on a tour there in the future, and I'd love it. Andrew is going to speak at our second convention now in January here, right, if we do it here. So you guys will see him and you'll hear all about their story. But the most amazing thing, BitFury is a crazy company. They do their own ASIC chips, and I got to go deep into the belly of the mine. I got to see all the inner workings inside each and every cabinet and what they're doing there. And they gave 40 jobs to the local community. They really did something beautiful. And now they have phase 2, and it's on the TSX. It's under HUT, and it's the only cryptocurrency legit mining stock that you could buy. And if you wanted my thumbs up, I give it a double thumbs up, kind of like Siskel and Ebert on that one, because it's guaranteed. Yeah, for sure.
And the interesting thing about what they're doing there, and a lot of people, to speak to the environmental side of things again, is that
they have wind power there too.
Yeah, and so what they're doing in a lot of these instances is the energy that's being used there. It's not that they're directly funneling that in. That's something that would have been waste.
Excess.
Yes, excess. So normally you'd be flaring, or you'd have to siphon off that waste.
This is the beauty of it. They're using gas that's used for nothing. Useless gas, and turning it into Bitcoin mining power. It's a beautiful equation. Beautiful.
Yeah. So
and cheap. Very cheap in Medicine Hat, by the way.
Yeah, and people are finding ways to optimize what those excesses are and funnel it into something. So essentially what they've said is, we would have wasted all of this energy. Instead, we're going to funnel it into a profitable endeavor that helps secure the Bitcoin network, or whatever network they happen to be mining for. So it's not that they've said, hey, we're going to drop extra electricity and effort into this. They're just optimizing their operation, because there's costs that are associated with getting rid of that excess.
Tons of cost, you know it. So back to the gas. So Three Hills, Alberta has a facility, Three Hills, Alberta. Drumheller, Alberta has the second facility. These are 2 smaller ones. And then the Medicine Hat has the larger facility. Medicine Hat is pulling 63 megawatts. The others are all a little less than that, like 4 and 8s and things like that, just so you guys can check up on that. But back to energy, and back to the Chinese comment about the usage there, and back to his 51%, and then noticing that. If we're in business right now, and this is a capitalistic play, and my company starts to creep on the monopolization of something, and we get to 52, 56%, people in the boardroom are cheering. We're buying lunch every day of the week. But in Bitcoin, they're dialing it back. They're like, this is not allowed. We have to make this even Steven. Think about that for a minute. Just think about how volunteers all volunteer to regulate something like that. It's absolute harmony. It's beautiful. It just is. And back to mining around the world, I think we should be mining way more, okay? When I went to Hut 8 and I see them mining for Bitcoin, they didn't even realize that they could mine a whole second coin on that facility, like SafeCoin, and have a whole second income coming in. They didn't even realize it. I had to tell them that. They're like, really? How come, where's my engineer, right? I'm like, listen, you could do this and that. And they were just like, they're blown away. They're blown away by me. But that's the point. Like, there's so much that can be going on. We just need to do more and more of it and get with each other. So any of you that have ideas or things that you want to bring forward now and in the future, let's keep talking. Let's keep investing together, and let's keep growing some of these amazing ideas around Bitcoin. Go ahead, Ken.
So since you've been in this space for a while, and we have a pretty decent sized audience, just wanted to get raise a hands. How many people are new to this space?
New to Bitcoin.
New to Bitcoin? Okay, I just wanted to know, in your time in Bitcoin, about 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like 50 human years. Yeah, right? So I wanted to know, like, what were some of the mistakes you made, something that you wish you knew before you maybe messed up, lost a private key, mined the wrong coin, something to that effect? Because there's a lot of things I've done wrong. I wish I knew then that I know now.
Absolutely. See, good question. So first of all, there are a lot of shit coins. There just is. And be careful, okay? That's just the best advice I can give you. I get emails every day, text messages, check out this one, check out that one, check out this one. I'm like, dude, I cannot check out all of them because I already checked them and they're crap, okay? Stick to Bitcoin, get into your mains, do this kind of thing. One of my phone swaps was a really testy time in my life. So I'm an app guy. I've got, a ton of Ethereum in one of the apps, okay? It's called IM token. And all of a sudden I switch phones from an iPhone 6 to a 10. And you do the swap and all the apps come over and everything looks perfect. Everything to your eye looks like it's all there and you're like, check it off, good, done. Then you go to use the app and it didn't move the private key. And then the money is stuck now. And then if you go and restore your old phone or sell it to someone or put it on Kijiji or whatever, now you can't ever get back in that app. So everybody, listen to me. Old phone, new phone. Download all fresh apps to your new phone, completely from your app store. Then transfer all the funds, wallet to wallet, from the old phone, and then you're golden, restore the old phone. Do not just move the apps over, Samsung or Apple, and expect the private keys that are locked in there to be flowing with that. They will not move. So you have all this money lost in cyberspace, and you'll be really upset. Because then I emailed IM Token in Japan or something, and they got back to me, and they said, I'm screwed. Yeah. So it was terrible. So some of these apps and wallets do not have a workaround, and you'll be shocked at that. You're like, what do you mean? But they do not have a workaround, okay? Now, some other advice on investing really quick. I was putting money all over the place like a gambler at a horse race, okay? And I like Vegas, and I like, roulette, and I like blackjack. So I'm a risky guy. I'm in the crypto biz, man, you know? So here I am throwing money down like a horse racing thing, and I'm just like this, that, and a million coins, and it was all crappy. It was terrible, okay? I was losing money like a sieve, and it was a terrible style. So the best advice I got from one of the best investors I've ever met said, 80-20 rule, Jan, 80-20. And we have it in sales, we have it in business. What he meant was hold 80% in Bitcoin and 20% in the top 20 altcoins. You got that? 80% in Bitcoin, 20% in the top 20 altcoins. When I took that advice, my portfolio, my blockfolio, has done nothing but climb, even in some of the shittiest times. So I'm telling you, there's something to that math right there. There's a trick there, and write that one down. 80-20. 80% Bitcoin, 20% of the top 20 altcoins. You're golden, you're solid. There you go.
And just to speak to the wallet changeover there, the issue you had. So the people that raise their hands for being brand new to crypto, it's important to realize that a wallet is a bit of a funny name for the application that you have on your phone. What a wallet actually is it's a key to your account. You can think of it as, at the time of downloading the app, the only key that exists to unlock that account on the planet. And it would be impossible to pick that lock. You can back it up. Most wallets, when you start, it'll say, write down this phrase of 12 words, and that's basically the equivalent of making a copy of your key.
I just had phone anxiety just now.
Yeah.
I just got up and walked there. I'm like, where's my phone? And she has it. I was like, yes. That's why. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. I don't ever want to lose my phone. But it scares me.
But it's built that way for a reason, because you don't want people to have access to your funds. It's not like a regular bank account where if your bank account gets hacked, they'll just type in some more money for you. That's not going to happen. So you need to keep control over your own money. So when you go to transfer those apps, what you're really doing by adding that app on your phone, you're downloading the app, sure, that gives you access to the cryptocurrencies that are available on it, but you're not downloading the key to your money. You're not downloading the key to your account. You need to put that in. You need to transfer that information, because it does not get transferred with a new phone.
And
So
a private key is a code, just so you know what that is too. It's just a string of words and text, and it's a code, and it's just your code. It's a very unique ID, and it goes with you, your wallet, and it can move from wallets, but you have to keep that very secure. You never share that with anyone on earth. And as soon as you get any kind of weird emails about give me your private keys, push this in here in this box or whatever, run away. This is not for you. Okay?
Yeah, the moral of the story is not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to make sure you write them down, back them up, and there's a few other wallets out there that have other redundancies, and exchanges have now actually had insurance for the funding, like Gemini. Gemini. Yeah, Cool Wallet S. There's hardware wallets out there, not just software. You can use your phone with another piece of hardware to add some more security to that, which is probably something I'll be touching on later, or if you wanted to talk about that, you can grab me in the hall. But yeah, definitely make sure if you open up a wallet, you always write down your private keys, put it down somewhere. Me personally, just a little thing I throw out when I talk about this is, I write my private keys down in a pattern in which only I know. So if I were to give you my private keys, it wouldn't be as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. I know where 1 really is, I know where 2 really is, I know where 3 really is, and I write it down in that order so that it looks, it's extra encrypted. I encrypted my private key in a pattern in which only I know. So just try to take some extra precautions. You can BIP 138 your private key and add a password to it, so when somebody adds your private key, it then asks for another key on top of that. So there's just so much more that you can do on top of this. You have a lot of security. Like Ben was saying, the only problem is if you don't take those means in your own hands, you don't have customer service. But that also means you don't have customer service that I can call by going through your trash and getting your information and changing your account information. So
That's happened to me too.
Yeah.
I'll touch on it real quick and we're going to wrap it up, you guys. So I have been cyber scammed myself to try to take my GSM, they try to take over my telephone, they try to take over my Gmail accounts, my Facebook accounts. People have targeted me because I'm in the Bitcoin business. And that was shocking to me. But I'm a positive person and I just rolled past that abuse and that type of thing, and most of you would want to. But if anything happens to your electronic devices, act fast. Call your software company right away. Talk to your phone provider. People are tricky out here, okay? But I want to wrap things up. We got to make room for Michael Brown from ATV. He's up next. Thank you so much for this part, Kenny. Thank you, Benny, so far. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming out. I'll give this back to Ben.